Assignment 2 is published and we'll review it. So we're going to do that first and then we should finish up Bootstrap today. And then we'll move on to JavaScript on Monday. Alright, so we're going to take our assignment 1 and we're going to upload it to a web hosting server. So for us, we have Eustace available as a web hosting server. And so I have the instructions here on how to upload your website to Eustace. You do not have to upload it to Eustace. If you have your own web hosting server, you are welcome to utilize that. Or if you are already running Space on a web hosting server, you can use that as well. You don't have to use Eustace. It's just a free resource. So if you have other options, that is totally acceptable. All right, so this is going to do on next week Sunday, the 16th, and what you're going to submit is your URL. So if we go to the assignment here in web courses, there we are. The submitting is the website URL, okay? So that's all you're gonna submit. And I have an example down below. So here, if I put in this URL, there we go. So this is last semester. So I'm gonna go through the steps and then we're gonna update it and you'll see that it'll be our current website instead of the old one, okay? But anyway, so I just wanna demonstrate to you the website URL working. So whatever URL that you have in the web browser, that is the one you're gonna submit to web courses. Does that make sense? Okay, cool. Because last semester I had someone say, I didn't know I was supposed to upload a URL. So I just wanna make sure that I am being very clear. Make sure I'm not miscommunicating. Okay. So how are we gonna get our website uploaded to Eustace? So there's a few things, and since you're in a 4,000 level class, obviously you've been with UCF for a while, you've been with our department for a while, so you probably have used Eustace at one point in time. But if you haven't, that's okay. All right, so web hosting is just where we have our websites live. And some people like to create their own web hosting server, but a lot of us that don't want to get into those nitty-gritty details will just rent space on someone else's, so like GoDaddy. Oh my goodness, there's so many web hosting services that are out there. It's pretty unlimited. So there are some free options that are out there, not a whole lot of free options, but there are a few. But most of them you have to pay. All right, so in order to do this assignment, I'm going to walk through the applications that you will need for it to work for you. So the first one is MOBA Xterm. So we need to install MOBA Xterm, except for my Mac users, and I have more details below for Mac users, so just bear with me, please. MOBA Xterm is only going to work for Windows, unfortunately, but it is a one-stop shopping. It will do that secure shell connection, so we can perform the WebDir request command, and then you can reconnect with a secure copy to upload your website. So MOBA Xterm is great for my Windows users. For Mac, we have a couple of options. All right, so if you don't have MOBA Xterm installed, you can go to our tech support. And you're gonna scroll down and you're gonna go grab software installation. Yes? I think so. Yes, there we go. Okay, so software installation, and then if you scroll down, you can see them all alphabetically. So MOBA Xterm, where are you? Right there. So there's MOBA Xterm. All right. So you can download that. But while you're there, you may want to download Connect Anywhere. is that? Oh, there's Putty. Hello. Right on. Really? Cisco?
It should be on V8 link or VPN.
Oh, the VPN, yeah. There we go. Why couldn't they just put the name of it in there? That's ridiculous. Okay, anyways, moving on. All right, and then also you want to grab Cisco AnyConnect. Because if you want to connect to Eustis off campus, in order for that to work, you have to be running the Cisco AnyConnect VPN. Okay? So those instructions are here in web courses. So you're gonna go to the website. If you need to download these software applications, grab Mobile Xterm, grab VPN. Oh, see, I had it in the instructions there, it's under V. And get those installed. Any questions about that so far? Okay. I just noticed, yay, that, let's go back here. No, come back. One of, this one right there. For my Mac users, this is one of the recommended applications that is available to do the secure shell connection and the secure copy. So let me scroll down there really quick so you can see that discussion. So here, because Mobile Xterm is not compatible with Mac OS, there are different options in order to complete that WebDir request command that we need to do through SSH. So I gave you the URL of all of the options, but the ones that were the most highly rated were Putty and iTerm. I've actually used Putty before because so my last professional job, actually our applications were developed and deployed on Windows, but before that I always worked on Linux. And so we use Putty all the time. So Putty is available there. I did not realize that. One of the other options is iTerm. That seems to be very highly rated as well. So I'm familiar with Putty. I have used that one before, but I haven't used iTerm before because that's very specific to a Mac. So that supports the applications that we need to perform the WebDir request. All right, so once you have everything installed, oh, and then I included this. I didn't have this in previous semesters, but this is the help page for our Eustis server. So I added that in there as well, because it just kind of gives you some commands that you can do on Eustis and just gives you more information about it. So that's just another link that's available. All right, now to Mobile Xterm. All right, so what we have to do, let me launch Mobile Xterm. So the reason why we need to do this WebDir request command, this is a limitation associated with UCF. So our college is not allowed to expose your NID. So when we log into any application on campus, we're usually logging in with our NID. So UCF will not allow us to publicly display that NID because it should be a unique value to UCF and it should be as private as possible. So in order for us to upload to the Eustis server and have our website be public facing, then we have to perform this command called WebDir request. And what WebDir request does is it will generate a public_HTML folder for you automatically. And that's where we put our website. And we are going to associate a name with it. So what name is going to be used when we publish our URL? So here with my WebDir request, I did Markle. So whatever name you choose when you perform this command is going to become part of your URL. Does that make sense? And I have the example down below as well. So when you're testing your website to make sure it works, you're going to use this URL and then the tilde and then whatever name you choose when you perform the WebDir request command, okay? So that's what we're doing first, is we have to get that public-facing directory available to us to upload our website. All right, so now we need to actually perform that task. So we're gonna come up here. There we go. All right, so for Windows users, you can use MOBA Xterm. You do not have to use MOBA Xterm, but you can. And so these instructions are for MOBA Xterm. And so first thing you're gonna do is log in. So here they have the sessions. If you click on the sessions, it'll show you a secure shell, or you can do the secure FTP. And so you would want to do a secure shell first to do the WebDir request command. So then I've given you the login credentials to the best of my ability. So our host is going to be Eustace 3. So we put that in there. And then here, you're going to check this little checkbox there. And then you're going to put in your NID. So I'm going to put in my NID. Don't change the port number, please. And then you just click the OK button. So now you're on Eustace. So this is still your NID password. So I'm going to put in my NID password. There we go. So now I'm logged in. And you see on the left-hand side here, because I already performed the WebDir request command, I have this public HTML folder already. So when you initially log in, if you've never done a WebDir request command, you will not have that public HTML folder. So the commands that we're gonna execute will create that. All right, so we're in the session. And then we're just gonna do WebDir request. So I did WebDir request in Markle, and mine's gonna just say, hey, you already have that. It says that already exists. All right, so for you, you shouldn't get that because it shouldn't already exist for you. And then once you execute that command, what you can do is verify it. So here, you might have to hit the little refresh folder button to see that public HTML folder show up if it doesn't refresh automatically. Does that make sense? Okay. All right. So once we have that directory available, then we can upload our website. Now again, for my Mac users, you're gonna have to find another application that does the exact same thing, okay? And so here's the list of alternatives that I found. These two are the highest rated, and PuTTY is available on our software page. I will actually update these instructions to include that because I didn't realize it was on there. Let me text myself that so I don't forget. And I did learn something new today about PuTTY. I always assumed it was an acronym, and it actually is not. I thought that was kind of interesting. And the spelling is weird. I mean, that is the legitimate spelling. Well, it has the uppercase P and the two, and then the TTY, but it really doesn't mean anything. And I had to look a couple of times. I'm like, no way. But it's like PHP. PHP is the same way. PHP is short for, it has PHP in it. We'll look at it when we do the PHP lecture, but it's the same thing. It's like the acronym doesn't really mean anything. Yeah, so PHP stands for PHP preprocessor. But PHP originally stood for personal homepage when it first came out. All right, so I am gonna update S2 with PuTTY on CDCS website. Okay, I will do that and then republish these instructions. All right, so now we're going to transfer our files. So I also have FileZilla installed on my computer. I told you before that our college frowns down on FileZilla because there's supposed to be issues with it, some backdoor issues with it. That's the first time I've heard that. FileZilla kind of comes packaged up. I have to Google that to see just how severe that threat is. I mean, I have it installed on my computer, and I have Norton on my computer, and Norton doesn't identify it as a problem. But anyways, moving on. All right, so now we need to transfer our website. Okay, so I'm going to exit out of this guide. So I'm done with that one. And now we want to do an SFTP. So you can go to session and then pick the SFTP option. And then you're gonna put in the same credentials. And I'm gonna say okay. And put in your NID password. All right, so here on the left-hand side, you see the directory structure on your computer. On the right-hand side is the directory structure on Eustace. So the public HTML folder is where your website is gonna go. So you're gonna double click in there, and I'm gonna go ahead and delete all of this. Because we're not using that one. Okay, so now we want to upload our website. So that is right here. So on your computer, go to where your website is. So for me, I'm gonna go there. Oops, no. There we go. Documents. Stuff. 2024. Summer. Keep going. All right, so you go into the folder of the website. So you don't upload the folder. So when you're uploading to a web hosting server, in the root directory of your space on that server is where your index.html page must go. Okay? So make sure that when you're uploading, you don't upload the entire directory, because if you upload the directory, it's going to change the path. Because the path that we have for our URL does not include any folders, any directory structure, okay? So the Markle means this directory right here. Okay, so this is where your index.html should go. So I recommend you go into the folder that has your website, the one that you zipped up and sent to into web courses, and this is where you're gonna go ahead and grab everything, and then you can just drag. Okay, so now it's there. So now we can go test it. So I'm just gonna refresh this. Oh, now don't be like that. It's cached. No, come on, you. I wonder though, because that says Whiting, that does not seem Markle. Let's do that. Let's change this to Whiting instead of Markle. There it is. Yep, okay. So mine's Whiting instead of Markle. I guess I have both. That's weird. All right, so now you can see it works, right? So your URL should be this URL, tilde, and then whatever that folder name is right there. Yes? Make sense? Beautiful. Okay, so that is the deal. Now, FileZilla will do the same thing. So I'm going to disconnect this dude. Yes. Yes. All right, so that's MobaX term. We can do the same thing with FileZilla. I'll do that later. So FileZilla, you actually have to put the port number in there. So in MobaX term, it automatically has port 22 populated. FileZilla does not. And then you just hit that quick connect button. There you go. So there's the public HTML folder. You go in there and you would do the same thing. Just drag the files over. It's pretty straightforward. Okay, so that's FileZilla. Now, for Mac users, you can use FileZilla to transfer your files, but you can't use FileZilla to do the SSH command. So that's the downside of FileZilla from that perspective. So again, for Mac users, either, so PuTTY is available for free. Well, PuTTY's free no matter what. So you do try PuTTY or iTerm, and they just pretty much all work the same. I'm sorry, go ahead.
For Mac, you can also do everything through the terminal.
Yeah.
That's how I did it.
So I didn't recommend that step because I've had students in this class that have never used Eustace before, and then they were actually in a different class that required them to upload to Eustace through the command line, and they were really struggling with it. And so I don't give the command line options, but you're correct. You can do this from a command line. You don't have to use a user interface. It's just you would have to know how to secure copies, all of that stuff, the actual commands. So I just assumed no. But good point. I do appreciate that. All right, so then once you get your website uploaded, you need to test it. So when you're testing it, again, if you're using Eustace, these are your options here. Either you're on or off campus. So if you're off campus, you're going to have to make sure you have Cisco AnyConnect running for it to work. Otherwise, it's going to tell you no. If you're on campus, you shouldn't run into that problem. And then for any other server, because again, you don't have to use Eustace. You would just put in your URL. And then here, if you're uploading to the other servers, again, any other server besides ours, you're just going to use whatever application is going to work based on your login and password. Okay, questions, concerns? Yes?
We upload, for the assignment, we upload the one that's not on the video, right?
Yeah, whatever you end up submitting the web courses, that needs to get uploaded to Eustace.
Right, I mean the URL, once we're done with the assignment 2.
Oh yeah, you just submit the URL.
The regular one, not the VPN.
It doesn't matter. The TAs can work with either one. I provided both examples in here, and so where is it? There we go. I provided both examples in here, and either one of them is going to be valid because we're probably when we're testing it, we're either going to have our VPN on or we're just going to be on campus. So that's on us for testing.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions? Okie doke. All right, so that is due a week from Sunday. Just submit that URL and you should be good to go. And I like that assignment because it gives